All right, hello everybody. This is Hero, back again with another setup tutorial for one of my programs. This time I have a Twitter success bot. This takes images posted in a specific channel on Discord and then sends them to your Twitter. So quick disclaimer, this video might be a little long. I'm going to be showing a couple different ways of doing things, and there's a lot of setup configuration items to go through, so I may end up splitting this into two parts. We'll see how it goes. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to just download the program and configure all of the setup files, configure all of that stuff, and then I'm going to show you what you would do in order to run the program locally, just on your computer, and then I'm going to show you what you would do if you're going to upload this to Heroku, which is a free hosting service that I've used. I have a tutorial specifically for that, but I'll show you how to do it specifically for this bot as well. I've provided a lot of files in the GitHub link, which are very easy to find and access. Let me go ahead and do that. So this is the GitHub link, and I've got everything here. This tutorial link will go there after once I finish this. Without further ado, I guess let's just get right into it. So the first thing you want to do is grab the first link in the description. It's going to be this GitHub link. And then you're going to also want to grab the second link, which actually, let me explain a little bit here. So what we're going to do first is we're going to have to be downloading all of this stuff. And the best way to do that is, well, there's two ways to do it. One, if you're even remotely interested, to ever hosting anything for free on Heroku, what I would do is immediately go for this link, which I have in the description. It's called the Heroku CLI, which means command line interface. That you'll find that at this link, which I've just also put in the description, and you will get the installer for this, and you will run that, and it will add a set of tools to your command line, which we will use to install this. I will be using this method. If you really don't want to install anything, or you know for sure, second method. If you know for sure that you're not going to be uploading things to Heroku and you're never going to do that, but you're interested in running it locally, I would go get the git bash, hold on a second, here it is, this one, and you will download your distribution. This one over on the screen image, this button should be your version for whatever computer you are on. I'm on a Windows computer, obviously, so it's going to give me the Windows option. And you can download just that as well if you are only going to be running it locally. The third option is if you were to hit this clone or download and just download a zip file of it. You won't be able to do anything except run this locally on your own device if you do it with this method. So I'm not going to be showing this method. It's honestly not really any good. You're better off using one of these two. So the only difference between these two different ones is that this Heroku CLI also has added support for you to take the programs that you've downloaded and upload them. The download steps for getting all of the package is exactly the same. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to head over to my, where is it? I need to go in here actually. Let's see, I'll make a new folder in here. And actually, so you're going to create a new folder, you're going to have that folder somewhere, and then after you've downloaded and installed either one of these, depending on which method you're going to be using, as I told you before, you will come in here and you will right click, let's correct myself, create a folder, up in the search bar up at the top, type in CMD, hit enter, it'll pop this up. Now what you want to do is go to the GitHub, click on this clone or download, and then click this little copy button right here. I'll also have this command listed in the description as well. But here you can type in git, G-I-T, clone, and then paste in the thing you just copied from GitHub. Hit enter. You'll see it does all of that, and now you can see in that folder you have all of the files. So that's the installation part of it. Alright, so now that you have those files, we can start getting into how to configure them. Now for me, I have my text editor that I prefer to use with them, but you can use whatever you like. I would recommend not just using regular Notepad, but it honestly doesn't matter. If you use Notepad++ at least, it'll give you some highlighting or way of differentiating between all the text. How do I do this? There we go. Okay. Oh, wrong one. My bad. There we go. Okay, so this is what that config file will look like when you first open it. You can see here there's a lot of options, and all of the gray text in here, I don't know what color it'll be for you guys, depends on what you open it in. These are all comments. Anything starting with a hashtag is a comment. It is basically just information that I've put in there in order for you to be able to access things. So let's just go through this one by one. First of all, you have the key. This is the token. It's what the login for your bot is. Logs channels. This is actually a list of channels that all of the log messages for the bot will be sent to. It's a list of channel IDs. I should correct myself there. The colors. This is a decimal color format. It's just the decimal color form of what the sidebar on the embedded messages will look like. And if you add multiple colors, it'll pick a random option from that one every time. You can add an icon URL for the footer of your embedded messages. You can add the text for the footer of your embedded messages. This is the prefix for all related commands in the bot. And now we get into the Twitter info. This is where we're going to get into this a little bit later once we come to actually configuring this. But this is where you're going to have to use a Twitter developer account and create an application there, and then put all that information here. Success channel IDs. So this is the list of the channels that the bot will watch in order to take those images and then post them on Twitter on the account given by this application. And then here's where you're set the message for that Twitter post. You can set whatever you like here. I'll explain it more when we come back here. And then log all posts, I'll explain that one in a moment as well. And then options, we'll go through those when we get back as well. Anyways, back from the top. Token. So what you want to do is, actually what I think you should do is go to the next link in the description, which will be the Discord developer applications. Now for me, I have a lot of different bots that I've made over time. Actually I think this one's from a last tutorial I did. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. Oh, never mind, I'll delete it later. Whatever. New application. Let's call it Twitter Success Tutorial. Create. And you can do whatever you like with this. You can name it whatever. You can add an icon. I'm just going to go ahead and add an icon just because. Give it this icon just because. I like that icon. Alright. And then what you can do is you can go in here into the bot tab. Hit add bot. Yes, and do it. There's no reason not to be honest. And now you have this token here. You can regenerate the token in order to refresh it, so that if you think someone else has gotten a hold of your token, you can just refresh it, and then there you go. You go ahead hit the copy button, it'll copy over. And now I'm just going to disclaimer as well, any of the sensitive private account stuff like the token, it's all going to be deleted after this video anyways, so don't bother trying to do anything with it. Go ahead and paste it in where your key is, and now the bot will log in as that bot. Now, going back to the bot information, you have to actually add this bot to your server still. So what you can do is go back to the General Information tab, and then copy the client ID. Now, I've given you another link in the description. It'll look exactly like this, and it'll probably give you an unknown error when it pops up, which is expected. Up in the link, you'll see there's a section with a bunch of capital X's. Go ahead and just get rid of those, and then paste in that ID you just copied. And go ahead and hit enter. Now what it's going to do here is going to ask you to select a server. So I'm going to go ahead and use this server, the one I've just been creating, in order to for a new group I'm putting together. And then you can check or uncheck the administrator tab. I would recommend leaving it checked. As long as you are the only one who has access to the key and you're not worried about someone else with it, there's really no reason to not let it be an administrator, because the only thing that has access to that program will be this script. So the bot can't do anything, and it'll make sure that it doesn't run into any errors when it's running, trying to send messages or get messages or download the images and post them or anything. And then go ahead and hit authorize and complete the CAPTCHA, and that's good to go. So you can go ahead and close that window now. And if I actually go over in Discord and into that server, you'll now see that right here, Twitter Success Tutorial just joined. You can see them over here. So that's that. Okay, so now that we have that in your server, actually I do need to keep Discord up here. The next thing we're going to have to do is set the logs channels. So this is where all of the messages, like saying the bot's online or a Twitter message was posted or that sort of thing, is going to be. I have this logs channel, and actually let me explain a little more. So you need to give it the ID of that logs channel. So in order to get an ID of a channel, you're going to need to go into user settings, and then in appearance you're going to need to toggle on, scroll down to advanced and toggle on developer mode. Make sure this is on, otherwise you will not be able to access the IDs that you will need for this video. Anyways, go back here. Now that you have that toggled on, you can right click on the channel, and down here it'll say copy ID. Go ahead and hit copy on that. Go into here and replace that here. And now if you are interested in adding a second logs channel, for example, I will use this one down here. Go ahead and right click on that, copy that ID as well. And now I've given you one here just so you can kind of see how. So if you wanted to, you could get rid of that hashtag and then just replace the zeros here. Or what you can do is you can create a new line, just hit enter, dash, and then paste that in. It should look exactly like the line above it, but with a different number. Then go ahead and just make sure that's saved. And so now we have our logs channel set. Now, onto the colors. So I've given a couple of links here. Let's go ahead and open up the first one right here. What this does is just a quick Google search. It basically gives you a color selector. So let's just use bright blue, I guess. And you're going to want to copy this hex color right here. And once you've copied that, go back to the config. Actually, no, just leave that. Don't copy it yet. And then grab this second link that's here. Go ahead, post that link in here. And now you can go copy this one and then paste it up here in the top and hit convert. You want this decimal number. Copy that decimal number back into the config and place it here. Now for me, I'm going to go ahead and add a second color, and that's going to be this one, and then I'll leave white. I have white in there as the default color. And what this will do is it'll pick a random color between the two for every message that it sends. Alright, next we are on to the footer icon URL. So for any images that are sent in a embedded message in Discord, you can't actually directly upload an image or select an image file for it. You have to have an image uploaded somewhere else online and then give a link to that image. So what I recommend doing, and I'll leave a link to this, is I use imgbb.com. It's super simple. You don't even need an account. You can just hit this upload button and you can select whatever images you want. So in this case, let's use this one, I guess. I don't know. Hit upload. And once you do that, you can go ahead and click on that image, and you'll see it uploaded the image. Now you can right click, you can hit copy image address, and now you can go back to the config and replace the link here with that link. And now the footer icon will be that image that you've just given it, as long as it's a PNG or a JPEG. Alright. Now we're on to the footer text. So let's see if I can find a good... So here you can actually see it sending things with example footer text. So this is the footer. So what we've just done is we've set the footer icon, which is this thing right here, and now this footer text will be the text that appears next to it. Alright, so now if we come in here, and that's actually me finishing up testing for this bot, so I'll get to that later. So now what you can do is you can go in here and enter in whatever. So I'm going to type in I'll go with that. Now the prefix is going to be the prefix for all of the commands. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can add a question mark, you can add whatever symbol you want, really. You can add a combination of symbols, whatever you want to use. Just make sure that you remember what it is. So I'm just going to leave mine at exclamation mark for now, because I'm not using that anywhere else on my server. That actually reminds me, I would recommend setting this something other than any other bot the server uses. That way you don't have to worry about anything overlapping or messages triggering multiple things. Alright, so the Twitter info is a bit tricky, so we're just gonna skip over that for now, and we'll go back to finishing up the options configurations. So this is the optional stuff. All of the stuff before this, all the stuff up here, it needs to be set. You have to give it some value. You can leave it at the defaults that I've given you, whatever you want to give it, as long as the token's valid, and the channels are valid. You have to give it information, otherwise it will not work. These ones are optional. They have to be set to something, but they can be either true or false. Those are your choices for all of these. I'll get to that one in a second. So embed timestamp. Let's see if I can go scroll up and find a quick example. So I'm sure you all have seen it. Messages that have these timestamps for when they were sent. So these ones are actually set when the embedded message is created. It's not actually a part of the footer. It's a completely separate item that Discord automatically puts in the footer. But anyways, all you have to do is, if you want your embedded messages to have timestamps, just change this to true. And if you don't want your embedded messages to have timestamps, go ahead and hit false. This will only matter for embedded messages from this bot, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on to true, because why not? So delete commands. So for example, I have a command that's going to be !uptime on this bot. It'll tell you how long the bot's been online. So when you run this command, if this is set to false, it'll be like normal. That command will show up in chat, and then the result will show up below it. If you change this to true, what's going to happen is when you send this !uptime, it'll actually delete the command that you just sent. So you won't be able to see your message anymore. Now, this isn't usually very useful unless you're trying to send like a single embedded message or something. But if you use it in combination with this show author option, it creates quite a nice effect. So embedded messages have the author tab. Let's see if I can go find one. I don't think there are any in. Oh, here we go. Here's one. Okay, so this field up here is the author. You may have seen it before. Basically, it sets the name of the has a name, and it has a icon. It also has the option to add a URL to it, but I haven't messed with that in this box. There's no reason to. So it has an icon and it has a name. So what happens if you set the show author to true, any embedded messages that result from using that command will have the name of the person who used the command and their icon shown up here. So what happens is, if you set delete commands to true and show author to true, when I use this !uptime command, you won't be able to see that I sent !uptime, but my name and my icon will appear at the top of this !uptime message. So here you'll see I used !uptime, and then it gave me !uptime, but you won't see this command appear. All you'll see is this embedded messages with my name up at the top, if both of these are true, which makes for a pretty interesting effect, honestly. Alright, now game status. I'm sure you all know there's the whole playing options over here. This one's playing question mark help. And so what this one works is it's true or false on active. So if it's false, it obviously won't be playing a game. If it's true, it will be playing a game. And you can set whatever you want the bot to be playing here. I'd recommend leaving it pretty short and concise, because it does cut off eventually if you add too much. But what I've done is I've enabled it so that you can add in these curly braces with prefix inside of it. And this will fill in automatically with whatever the bot's prefix is. So for example, in this case, I have exclamation mark. So when I type in a prefix in there, it's actually just the same as me putting exclamation mark there. What's nice about this is that if for any reason I change the exclamation mark, it'll automatically update down here as well. And then in this case, I'm just using help so that people know that they can use the help command with that prefix. So that's exactly what this one's running right now. It looks exactly the same as this. Alright, so that's all for the basic configuration. Now we're going to go into the Twitter configuration. So before we get started with this, you are going to need to create a Twitter developer account. So you can just look up Twitter developer. I'll leave a link to this, but you'll go to developer.twitter.com, and here I'm going to actually sign in. Yeah, I'll go ahead and log in. That should be blurred out so you guys can't see it. Anyways, you will log into your Twitter here, and then it'll probably ask you to create a developer account first. So you need to make sure that you have a email and a phone number that are both valid on your account, and you will have to go through an application process. Make sure everything in that application process is set to personal. You're giving personal information for a personal project. You're not doing it for a business or for a large corporation or anything. So all you want to say is using it for personal information, and then just fill out that application. It may take up to like anywhere from 5 minutes to like 3 days for it to verify your Twitter developer account, and if there's an issue or something's wrong, they will send you an email telling you why they denied your application and how you can fix it. So for example, this account, I didn't have any issues. I was verified within about 5 minutes, but someone else that I helped set one up, they ran into an issue where for some reason one of their descriptions for why they were applying wasn't long enough or something, and so they got an email from Twitter about that, and he replied with a corrected he replied to the email with a corrected version of it, and they accepted his application within the next few minutes. So it might take a few days, or it might be a long process, or it might be really quick, I don't know, but once you're done, you'll be able to come here, and you should be able to click on your name as a drop down, and you should be able to click on apps. Now I already have an app here. We're going to go ahead and ignore that app for now. We're going to create a new app, name it whatever you like. So in this case, I'm going to call it Twitter Success Tutorial. Application description. I'm just going to say like it's a program that takes images from Discord and posts them to Twitter. Yay. Website URL. This one's completely required. I have literally no clue why or what you would ever do with it. So what I always do is I just go to Twitter and grab my Twitter profile and just stick it in there, because honestly, who cares anyways. Callback URLs, all this stuff, completely ignore all this. How this app will be used. Sure, that'll do, whatever. Once you're done with that, you can go ahead and hit create. It'll give you this thing. It looks like an error. It's really not an error. Just go ahead and hit create. It's whatever. We're not actually messing with any of those things. Here you got a few options. You can set the app icon if you wanted to. Anyways, you're going to hit edit details. You could change the name, all that information, change the icon, whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. I didn't want to do that. There we go. Okay. Once you're done, you're going to go to keys and tokens. You're going to click under access token and access token secret. Go ahead and create. Alright, here we go. So now you'll see in here I have 4 options. They're all in the same order. So you're going to grab the first one. Let's see. Be careful when if you double click it to select it, it adds an extra space at the end for some reason. So be careful about that. Go ahead and paste that one in right away. And then same thing here. Make sure you lose that extra space. Paste that one in, and now you're going to go down here to the ones you just generated, paste it in here, and the same thing here. Alright, so that's probably the most difficult part of the Twitter. That's the most difficult part of the Twitter setup, is getting this created and going through the process of applying for the developer account and all that. Once you do that, you'll have all this information stored in here. And again, I'll be deactivating this after this video, so don't worry about trying to copy it or anything. But yeah, so now that that's there, we can go to the success channel IDs. So we're going back to Discord now. So I'm going to use this channel for, this is going to be the channel where people will post images of their success. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go ahead and right click that channel, copy ID, and paste it in like usual. I just did the wrong thing. There we go. And if you wanted to add multiple success channels, you can go ahead and hit add new ones, add in whatever number your ID is, doesn't matter, go ahead and add more, however many you want. Wouldn't go too overboard though, because it is a fairly intensive program. If you have too many IDs, because it has to actually save the files, save the image files before you can post them to Twitter. Alright, now we're on to the Twitter message. Excuse me. So this one's basically whatever you want to be posted along with your Twitter message. In this case, I said thanks to HeroCoastH being my Twitter handle as well. So in the Twitter post, it'll actually mention me, which is kind of fun. Or you can set it to your group name or whatever you want to do, or you can type in whatever you want. So I'm going to say and now what you can do is if you want to add an enter as in a new line, you do \n, and this will enter a new line in. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in this. So this user option here, user inside of curly braces, will put in the name of the person who posts the image. So in this case, if I post an image, it'll say posted by HeroCoast_HM, my Discord name. And if someone else were to post it, it would show their name. It shows the name of whoever posts it. You can leave it out if you wanted to. It doesn't matter, but I think it's a useful thing to have. Alright, last option here. Log all posts. So I have it set to true. You can turn this off if you want. If it is set to true, every time someone posts a success image in any of the success channels, after the bot posts the tweet along with the images, it will, in every single one of the logs channels we have set, we will get a message telling us that a tweet was delivered and a link to that tweet. I'm going to leave this on true. If it's annoying to you to get notified every time someone posts a success thing, you can turn this off and then it won't give log messages every time someone posts success images. Up to you. I'm going to leave this on just for the sake of the video, making things a bit smoother. And once you've done that, you have completed the setup. So once again, make sure the file is saved. And now everything is good to go in the config files. Alright, so I'm actually going to go ahead and end part 1 of the tutorial there. So go ahead and continue on to part 2. That's going to make things a lot easier on me because they are kind of two topics. So in the next part 2, we're going to deal with actually getting the bot online and running and how you would go about doing that. I'll be showing two methods, one where you run it locally using Python and one where you upload it to Heroku to host for free, and that does not require you to install Python. Again, we'll go into that more in part 2. One last thing before I go though, I have started up a new Discord server, correction. This is the same one that I was just showing off as I'm using for this tutorial. This is a Discord server where I host support for all of the programs that I make, as well as a lot of other groups and information from all over the sneaker Discord community, and It's like every single one of these red names, those are people from different groups, different products. This guy's making a bot right now. And so we're all kind of coming together, and I'm going to be starting up a group releasing tomorrow, which will probably be today for you guys. That will be, I'll be having people send out invite links, and this group will be completely free, access to all my free and open source stuff, as well as a lot of other information. So I'll leave a link to that in the description once I upload this as well. So feel free to join here, especially if you have any questions about this setup. This is where to come to ask for help. I have this really nice support channel where you can either ask support, ask questions here, you can create a ticket here, whatever you want to do. Anyways, that'll do it for part 1. I'll see you guys in part 2.